Xal'atath has slowly been revealed step by step on what she is, but now in the game, in the 11.2 PTR, we have gotten a final confirmation on who she was in the ancient past. We've learned about her own planet that was destroyed in ancient history hundreds of thousands of years ago. Furthermore, we learned an insane amount about what actually happened to Karesh, why she betrayed Dimensius, and we learned the terrible truth as to how the Ethereals were really created. Spoiler alert, it wasn't Dimensius nor the dark energy. So let's really quickly go over this new insane questline from 11.2 PTR and all the reveals we currently have in the game. If you wanted anything Warcraft related, Gamivo has the best deals on the market that you can get with my link below. You can get almost every other game software, and they also just added mobile top-ups for all your favorite mobile games with the craziest prices. You can also use my code DORON to get yet another discount, so click my link and get the best deals at Gamivo. So I've been covering this as it has been happening pretty much every few weeks we're getting like a new hint about Xal'atath, but we're constantly getting new information and who she is from all the various sources. It looks like pretty much everything we had known in the past about Karesh, the Ethereals, was almost a complete lie. And this wasn't a retcon where Blizzard changed it, it's just that certain Ethereal elite didn't want the others to know the truth, so they hid it from everyone. We also learned that Xal'atath was more than involved in this, and from what planet she actually is. Real quick, you're almost certainly familiar with the known lore thus far. Dimensius invaded Karesh, he bathed it in dark energies, the Ethereals propped up shields which destroyed him, but also the planet and their own corporeal forms. While there is actually a grain of truth in that, it kinda happened like that, so much more has happened behind the scenes, and now we're finally figuring it out. So let me just put this into like a timeline perspective, and keep in mind, like Warcraft always has a super vague timeline, but this is actually huge. Keep in mind, Azeroth was invaded by the Legion 10,000 years ago. The Argus thing with the Draenei happened 25,000 years ago. However, the destruction of Karesh actually happened hundreds of thousands of years ago. So this is such ancient history that it is mind-boggling to even think about it. Very likely before the Titans even did a lot of their ordering. This means that the Ethereals are truly ancient mortals. Even more interestingly, Xal'atath is even older than this, but we'll get to that in a bit. So this didn't change. Dimensius did really invade Karesh, he really is that powerful, and just as we had previously thought, he was so insanely powerful that you would be blown to pieces if you just got close to him, so no one could approach, no one could even fight him, like they had no idea what to do. So check this out, and of course, big spoiler here, but the leader, the Ethereal leader, Nexus King Xal'atath, apparently made some sort of a pact with Dimensius, and seeing how bad this invasion was, a group called the Ravel needed desperate and drastic measures to defeat this guy. So they started gathering these relics called the Reshi ribbons. We don't learn what they really are, but as they say, they're relics from old Karesh. They're incredibly ancient, dangerous, and powerful. So personally, I think this is something similar to the artifacts we had seen in Legion. Now, these Karesh artifacts actually destroyed the planet, but it was a complete disaster because this here is where kind of Xal'atath stepped in and kind of blew everything up. So check this out. Xal'atath told us she really was the Harbinger. We know she's no longer serving the Void Lords, so my question when this was revealed was, why do we still call her the Harbinger? Because she's working for herself, and the truth is we don't. She tells us she was actually the Harbinger of Dimensius the All-Devouring in the past. She tells us that she is in fact much like us and that her own planet was destroyed even before Karesh, and since then she essentially became Dimensius's Silver Surfer. She doesn't go into great detail on how it happened. I think they're gonna set that up, whether she joined him willingly, whether she was enslaved. My personal opinion, the most likely opinion, is that this is like an Ashara type scenario. She obviously doesn't like this guy, she waited for the first opportunity to escape, but I do think she joined him like how Ashara had joined N'Zoth. So this is finally the truth about Xal'atath. She is in fact a mortal from another world that was transformed into like a void being, a planet not yet discovered, and it was destroyed in such ancient history, it's mind-boggling. This is what Xal'atath was saying when she was taunting Illyria as a child because she has survived for like a 500,000 years in this universe, and she has probably seen all the realms that exist and that existed in the past. So back to Karesh. Xal'atath initially came as a harbinger to destroy the planet together with her master, but she learned of these Reshi ribbons, these mysterious artifacts, and she decided to betray her master, and she saw this as a key to not only destroy destroy him, but to empower herself. She told us that these ribbons would be the key to free herself from his service. However, Locust Walker here kinda messed everything up. We learned about the big reveal, and that is that the Ethereals weren't created because the planet exploded and their forms were destroyed like we learned in the past. Xal'atath is the true creator of the Ethereals. She, together with Locust Walker, used the ribbons to transform the Ethereals into their current forms. As she told us, the Void does not transform because the Void never transforms, it destroys. Here, we get a cinematic that is not yet available and we can only see the text, but we definitely learned some really crazy things. This group called the Revel, which seems to be Venari, Locust Walker, maybe a few others, and they made this deal with Xal'atath that she would save their people through this transformation, but they had to sacrifice the planet in return. No one actually kind of knew about this. It would be like a huge betrayal, but Locust Walker says he had no other choice. They essentially sacrificed the planet willingly. However, the thing is, they actually screwed up. This wasn't a successful operation. While destroying the planet, they didn't actually destroy Dimensius, but instead, they fragmented him across the entire universe. This meant that now, he was super weak, but he existed. We actually met one of these fragments back in Outland, back in TBC, and that is why he was so weak. This was just one of the fragments that was blown away. However, Dimensius is still around, and now in this patch, he seems to be gathering the fragments, and he seems to be getting back to his old form, which is of course terrible news. World Soul of Crash still faintly exists, but if Dimensius comes back, there really is no force to actually stop him unless we blow up yet another planet, and this kind of also reveals that Void Lords really are that powerful. You need insane energy to get rid of them once they manifest themselves. Now, Xal'atath here is working with us, and spoiler alert, but obviously not for long. Think about it, it makes sense. I mean, she obviously doesn't want Dimensius to return, because if he does, he is going to go back at her for her betrayal in this ancient history, and there is nothing she could do, so really, she desperately needs to make sure he doesn't get back to his old form. The really interesting thing though, is that this line of Xal'atath telling us about her old planet and some backstory was actually added in the very first build of the PTR for 11.2, but it was just removed a few days ago in the newest build. Personally, seeing that Midnight is almost finished by this point and is getting announced in a bit more than a month, and the patch itself is coming out in less than a month, they're definitely not retconning this. I just think they want this reveal to probably happen in a cinematic, but the story is without a doubt written. I think we will learn what this planet actually is, and I really wonder if it will be a planet we've heard about in the past, or if it's like a completely new one. It could be the planet that Sergera split, for example, the one that was infested by the Void. However, I do think it will be very interesting to learn about what actually happened with Xal'atath. What is this planet she originates from? How did she end up becoming the Harbinger of Dimensius? Was it really a willing pact, or was this like an Artist Sylvanas situation? I really feel like it could be either way at this point. For example, if you remember Sylvanas' famous storyline, she was forced to serve him after defending her own kingdom until she broke free. I think a similar thing could happen with Xal'atath. However, with the hints of her wanting to become a new Void Lord and such, it does seem to align more with an Ashara scenario, an arrogant, power-hungry character that ended up serving the Dark Forces. In this case, she would have betrayed him, not because he destroyed her planet, but because she wanted to become even more powerful than her master, and she saw the perfect opportunity to betray him and use Kalesh to destroy his form so that she can get her own opportunistic plan started. The only question that arises after that is, when did she come to Azeroth, to the Black Empire, and what does she really want to do with Azeroth? So far, and of course spoilers here, we know she obviously betrays us. I mean, everyone saw that coming, and she actually defeats the Locust Walker, and Illyria herself says we need to stop her before she becomes a new Old Devouring. Very likely hinting that the end goal is to use Azeroth's essence to become something akin to a Void Lord herself. However, how this will play out is super hard to say, but it does seem like she's going to be the main villain of Midnight and the one that is going to be after us, and not her long-defeated master, Dimensius. Thanks for watching. Check out the brand new cosmology chart, which is absolutely crazy, by clicking on the screen, and check out my Roman Empire video I've recorded in Malta on site by also clicking on the screen as well. See you next time.